Your scars are not your disqualification, they're your resume. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women in unlearned survival rediscover softness and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Taywana James, a woman whose life is sacred evidence that even the most underpaid, unseen labor can be the soil where world changing leaders are grown. Taywana is a mother, a healer, a truth teller, and a living testament to the power of choosing your children and your soul over the world's definition of success. Her impact on making the world a better place is quiet but seismic. She's teaching us that the kitchen table, the laundry room, and the late night tears are not detours from purpose. They are the very foundation of it. She raised 7 children by the age of 21 with no roadmap and no safety net, and in doing so, she became a masterclass in resilience, spiritual intelligence, and unconventional leadership. What she shared with me will shift something deep inside you, too. So let me share with you what Taiwana taught me and what I believe will challenge everything you thought you knew about pain, power, and purpose. Here's the surprising insight I want you to sit with today. And I mean, really sit with it. Your deepest wounds and the seasons when you felt most unqualified or off track can become your most powerful assets as a leader and entrepreneur if you honor them instead of trying to outrun them. Most people are told heal first, then help others. Get your money right, then you can focus on purpose. But Taiwana's story, becoming a mother of 7 by 21, feeling unloved, underpaid, and unseen, shows that sometimes healing, parenting, and purpose are happening all at the same time, in the same messy kitchen over the same 7 plates. I want to challenge the idea that we have to separate real life from success. For Black professionals and entrepreneurs, especially Black women, the very things we're taught to hide, trauma, poverty, single parenthood, complicated family histories, are often the training ground for spiritual intelligence, emotional resilience, leadership, and vision. So instead of asking, how do I escape my story so I can be successful? I want you to consider that how is my story already preparing me for the rooms I'm meant to sit in, the businesses I'm meant to build, and the people I'm meant to serve. Let me tell you about some women who figured this out. There's an organization working with women in rural African communities, places where electricity is a luxury and kerosene lamps are the norm. These women are mothers and caregivers balancing family responsibilities with the need to earn income in places where opportunities for women are almost non existent. They live in energy poverty. Their communities lack reliable electricity and rely on dangerous or expensive energy sources. Women have limited access to capital, business training, and formal employment despite carrying the bulk of household and caregiving work. Social norms often undervalue women's contributions outside the home. But here's what happened when someone decided to see these women differently. An organization called Solar Sister came in and trained them to become clean energy entrepreneurs, selling solar lamps and clean cook stoves to their neighbors. Now, these women didn't have business degrees, they didn't have startup capital or LinkedIn profiles. What they had was lived experience. They knew what it was like to cook over dangerous fires. They knew what it meant to stretch a dollar. They knew how to talk to their neighbors, how to build trust, how to solve problems with limited resources. And when they were given tools, training, and ownership, they didn't just earn income, they transformed their communities. They became micro entrepreneurs, generating income that helped pay for food, school fees, and household needs. Communities gained affordable, clean energy, which improved health, safety, and productivity. The women reported increased confidence, decision-making power, and social status in their households and communities. They became leaders, they gained agency, they stopped seeing themselves as survivors and started seeing themselves as problem solvers, as visionaries, as the change their communities needed. This is what Taiwana knows in her bones. When women who have carried the weight of family and community are given dignified economic tools, they transform their homes and the systems around them. They're not chasing money for ego, they're using it in service of their families and communities, proving that income and integrity can coexist. The very skills they developed while surviving, managing chaos, caring for others, reading people's energy, became the foundation of their businesses. Now, let's talk about what's happening right here in the United States, because this story is not just happening overseas, it's happening in your neighborhood, in your city, maybe even in your own mirror. Black women are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in this country. From 2014 to 2019, the number of businesses owned by Black women grew by about 50%, the highest growth rate of any female demographic in that period. And many of these women are starting businesses while juggling caregiving, employment, or recovering from financial and emotional hardship. But here's the thing: Black women entrepreneurs face persistent funding gaps. They receive less capital and smaller loans than other groups. They encounter structural racism, gender bias, and a lack of access to professional networks, mentorship, and mainstream support systems. Despite high startup rates, many struggle with sustainability and scaling due to undercapitalization and systemic barriers. So, what are they doing? They're building bootstrapped, community centered businesses. They're relying on savings, family support, and grassroots marketing. They're leveraging digital platforms and social media to bypass traditional gatekeepers and reach customers directly. And they're not just surviving, they're reshaping industries from beauty and wellness to finance, tech, and social impact. They're creating jobs. They're circulating money within Black communities. They're providing products and services that reflect Black women's lived experiences and needs. This trend challenges the stereotype that Black women are only struggling. It shows Black women as innovators, employers, and economic engines. It reinforces the message that what the world calls too much baggage can actually be the fuel for life changing enterprises when we honor our stories instead of hiding them. Historically, Black women have worked at the intersection of racism, sexism, and economic exploitation, often bearing the emotional and financial load for extended families and communities. From the civil rights movement to modern social justice efforts, Black women have consistently led, often without recognition or equitable pay. Entrepreneurship has emerged as both a survival strategy and a path to self determination and generational impact. And the growth of Black women led businesses, in spite of underfunding, demonstrates extraordinary resilience, creativity, and a values driven approach to business. And this brings me to the third story I want to share. Entrepreneur and author Magati Wade has argued that poverty is best addressed through entrepreneurship and capitalism, not charity. She emphasizes that women in markets, braiding hair, and running small businesses are central to this transformation. This perspective highlights how everyday Black women entrepreneurs are already fighting poverty through their work. Many Black women operate in informal or small scale businesses with little protection, recognition, or access to growth capital. They often carry the dual burden of being the primary caregivers and primary earners. Public narratives sometimes frame them as victims rather than as the agents of economic change they truly are. But where Black women owned businesses thrive, they circulate wealth locally, increase access to services, and serve as visible examples of possibility for the next generation. The narrative shifts from "we are poor" to we are builders. Historically, external aid and charity have not dismantled systemic poverty in Black communities. Instead, local entrepreneurs, often women, have been quietly holding communities together, feeding families, educating children through their earnings, and stepping into leadership roles without the title. This reframing empowers Black women to see their businesses as sacred work, not just survival. It reinforces the idea that when we decide money will never come before our people, but we still master it as a tool, we can transform our families and communities from the inside out. So let me bring this back to you. Here are three key insights I want you to walk away with today. And I want you to let these sink in deep because they have the power to change the way you see yourself, your story, and your future. First, your pain is not your disqualification, it's your preparation. The very experiences that made you feel broken or behind can become your most trusted teachers in business and leadership. Emotional scars can sharpen your intuition, deepen your empathy, and make you a more trustworthy leader, especially in communities that have been hurt and overlooked. The world tells you to hide your scars. I'm telling you to read them like a map because they will show you exactly where you're meant to go and who you're meant to serve. Second, money is not the villain, but it must never be the master. Taywana learned early that green paper can make people abandon their morals and their children, and that made her want to reject money altogether. The shift is realizing that money has no life until we give it one. It's a tool, not a God. When rooted in purpose, love, and community, money can fund healing, not harm it. For Black entrepreneurs, the goal is not to be rich just to be rich, but to design a relationship with money that honors your soul, your children, and your community. Money in the hands of a healed woman is medicine. Money in the hands of a woman who knows her worth is revolution. Third, unconventional journeys create unconventional leaders. Raising seven children with no traditional career path forced Taiwana to build skills that don't show up on a resume but are priceless in entrepreneurship. Managing chaos and limited resources, communicating hard truths in love, making decisions under pressure. Her story shows that there is no one professional path. The kitchen table, the laundry room, the late night tears, all of that can be the foundation for building businesses, movements, and legacies that are deeply human and spiritually grounded. So here's my question for you. And I want you to really think about this. If you stopped treating your past like a stain to hide and started treating it like a curriculum you've already survived, what kind of leader or entrepreneur would you allow yourself to become? And what one small decision can you make this week to let your story serve someone else instead of silently suffocating you? Here's your call to action, and I want you to do this today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Write down three hard things you've lived through, moments you thought would break you. Next to each one, write one skill, insight, or value it taught you. Boundary setting, reading people's energy, stretching a dollar, advocating for children, holding space for others' pain. Then choose one way you can use one of those skills this week in your business, your work, or your family, with full awareness that it is not a weakness, but a strength you earned. You may not have chosen what happened to you, but you can choose what you do with what it made you see and know. Taywana James is living proof that your story, starting from that curious 4-year old to the mother of seven to the woman you are now, is sacred evidence that even the most underpaid, unseen labor can be the soil where world changing leaders are grown. So here's what I need you to understand: the world is waiting for leaders who have been broken and put themselves back together. The world is waiting for entrepreneurs who know what it's like to make seven plates with $3. The world is waiting for women who can hold space for pain and still choose softness. That woman is you. Stop apologizing for your story. Stop hiding your scars. Stop waiting for permission to lead. Your pain has already prepared you. Your survival has already qualified you. Now it's time to step into the rooms you were built for, not in spite of your story, but because of it. The question is not whether you're ready. The question is, are you willing? Are you willing to let your past become your power? Are you willing to let your wounds become your wisdom? Are you willing to build something so sacred, so rooted, so real that it changes the lives of everyone who comes after you? Because, sis, the world doesn't need another perfect leader. It needs you messy, scarred, soft, and strong. So drop the cape, honor your scars, master your money, and step into your soft girl era. Not because you've arrived, but because you've survived. And that survival is your superpower. Now go build something the world has never seen before.